So our project is called PPM Explorer, and it is a project that takes in images and captions taken from the PPM encyclopedia set, which is a bunch of artwork and detailed explanation of how Pompeians created decorations and things like that for their homes in Pompeii before it was, destroyed by Mount Vesuvius. And our project is aiming to allow users to gain more information about how Pompeians created that art, why it's significant, and what it really means for the history of Pompeii. So actually, our project is built on the foundations of a former PhD student here at the University of Arkansas. Her name is Dr. Cindy Roulette. She laid a lot of the foundational and groundwork for this project and feature vector similarity calculations using cosine distance to determine if two pieces of data are similar to each other based on how close they are in a very high dimensional vector space. She laid a lot of the groundwork for that in her dissertation about 5-6 years ago. She used convolutional neural networks and, optical character recognition and natural language processing to extract all of the images and the text that are in these physical PPM volumes. These are actual, books that she's dealing with, and she actually extracted the images out of those books using, image scan technology. So without her work, in 2019, 2020, none of this would have been possible. So she laid a lot of the, foundational work for that.
For example, in your iPhone, when you click on the pictures, the search bar, and you put cat, and your phone knows which ones are the cats that is in your gallery. You can do that, but with images of Pompeii. And this will help you understand what was happening back in the day and to see every single picture that you want to find. At the beginning of the project, I helped the team doing the research and how can this be accomplished and how can we move from what Dr. Roulette did to a more up-to-date, more technology, user-friendly website and just to accomplish this. I think my favorite part of working on this project, I think I learned the most about image vectorization, which is just dividing images into a huge amount of mathematical array and then just making calculations in those arrays, and the computer knows exactly what you want and what you can accomplish from that calculation. So I think just seeing the math working behind the scenes and how that is working on the computer to accomplish what you want.
So I've been in charge of testing and making sure everything's working as it should be, and not just showing but proving that our product is better than our competitors, and getting data back from users as they've tested it and used it, and making sure that it's understandable and it works efficiently for them for whatever they want to use it for. Like giving users a list of tasks that they could do with the product and making sure they could efficiently get through them and find what they're looking for. My favorite part of working on this project is getting the opportunity to learn more about AI and machine learning, because that's the future of technology.
My role on the project is to try to convince art historians that the work that we're doing on this project is worth looking into. And I'm doing this by creating different test cases that show off the usefulness and the accuracy and the speed of our program and the research of Pompeii. So before this project, I didn't know much about AI or cloud computing. Being able to use Cosmos introduced me to a lot of the foundational concepts of both of these topics, which I think will go a long way in my career, because from here on out I don't see AI or cloud computing decreasing in use from here. The AI part of this project caught my interest because before this project I didn't understand the vectorization of AI and how that works in general. So being able to see from Cosmos how Cosmos generates like 1,024 vectors. My favorite part about this project was one of the test cases that we ran. We ran around 200 queries on the Cosmos database, and in a very short amount of time, Cosmos returned all of those queries with the top 5 most similar images to each. And I think this result is just really satisfying to see, because these researchers at Pompeii, they have to manually flip through the Pompeii volumes to find what they're looking for. And I think it just shows that our project has a real use case for the research of Pompeii.
For my duty for the project was to work with the back-end functionality of the application, so the actual services that we're using to generate image similarity and caption similarity, so a user can easily search amongst the whole index of images to say, oh, if I want to see a picture of a bird, let's look at this application, search bird, and then get results from that. So in terms of what I've learned, a lot can go wrong really fast. And also building, an application for a user base that doesn't have technical background experience. So I mean, the people that will be using this application are mostly art historians, people that are actually interested in gaining new research understanding about Pompeii. So to develop an application actually requires thought as to what an end user of the application would think when using it, instead of just what I would think when I would use it. It requires us to put in a little bit more thought and care into how accessible the program is and how easily it can be used and stuff like that. So I think future goals for this project right now, at least our sponsor wants us to think about the spatial composition of rooms in PPM or in Pompeii. So the significance of, oh, this room looks kind of like this room, they have similar styles and are named similarly. It's like we might have an atrium with a fountain in it. Why is it that there's fountains in both of those rooms, and like what is the significance of how often people visit those rooms? What does the foot traffic look like in Pompeii, and how significant is the decoration style to the room style? So I think getting a better sense of the spatial composition of Pompeii and why that's significant is also something we want to explore in the future. So this project has so much potential in terms of making advancements about understanding the art history of Pompeii that I think it's really important that we get further support to eventually bring this to the internet and actually have a user base and people that are interested in using it. Right now it's only in a testing environment, so we can't really share it with other people. To have the support to bring it to a wider user base would be very significant.